Okay, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday. It's June 6th. It's early. It's 7:45, 40. It's actually 7:46 a.m. here. And I just want to say I'm amazed by my YouTube subscribers. Y'all have been great. Some of you have left me great comments. And there are two I want to address today. One, wanted to know about goulash recipes. And I did film a segment late last night. I watched it and I'm like, okay, I need to do a better job of explaining it. This happens to be my grandmother's recipe box. And I don't remember her ever making a goulash, but goulash is basically a stew-based meal. And there are a lot of different varieties of goulash. You can have beef goulash, you could have lamb goulash, you could have veal goulash, you can have chicken goulash. And you might be wondering what makes a goulash a goulash. Well, goulash is predominantly a Hungarian-based meal. Goulash came from the Hungarian region. Unfortunately, I am of Italian descent as well as Czechoslovakian descent. So goulashes were not 100% popular in that part of the European region. There are versions of goulashes, and most goulashes are made with paprika. And paprika is a red spice, and a lot of goulashes are red. The other thing that makes goulashes different from other than a basic stew, or even some of my recipes, is the fact that you do not use flour to thicken your sauces. Most goulashes are thickened by either tomatoes or other thickenings other than flour. And tomatoes are a huge base of a good goulash. Now, I'm going to go through, later on today, I'm going to go through some of my grandmother's recipes and see if I do have a goulash recipe. Like I said, that wasn't a big thing in my family. And I'm not seeing a goulash, but I'm sure I can find one, and we are going to explore that probably later, because goulashes, that makes a lot of food. So we're definitely going to explore that later on. That's usually a heavy dinner, and for me, goulash is more like a fall type food, although you can have it any time of the year. So great question. Thank you so much for leaving me that comment last night. I'm definitely going to look at all of the books that my grandmother had and find a good goulash recipe. Now, another viewer left me a message this morning, or earlier this morning, and wanted to learn more about Bohemian food. And Bohemian foods is a broad term. And it's usually Eastern and Western region of Europe. So Germany, Czechoslovakian, or let me reiterate. Germany, Poland, Czechoslovakia, parts of Switzerland all fall into the Bohemian era of foods. And Bohemian is just, again, a broad term when it comes to Bohemian in cooking. Most of them are a very heavy, rich sauce, and we're going to do quite a few of my favorite Bohemian dishes. One would be my grandmother's chicken paprikash. The Pataki is another one, and I can't remember if I have a video. I think I do, of the Pataki, and that's a Bohemian food. We are going to do a Skwitchkova later on, because I have a lot of Czechoslovakian friends that are new to the channel, including quite a few of my Facebook friends that have begged me for my great-grandmother's Skwitchkova recipe. Now, I will do that later on this summer because it's a pickled beef and I have to have the pickling spices. Also, with the Skwitchkova, that is a multi-day process because it takes 2 days before you can roast your Skwitchkova in the oven. You have to prepare it, and it has to sit for 24 hours in the refrigerator in the pickling and vinegar spice. That's what makes the Skwitchkova. We're also going to do different dumplings, and I know I have my grandmother's dumpling recipe that I did over Easter when I did the pork roast and the sweet sour cabbage. We're going to do different versions of dumplings. I'm going to teach you guys how to do the yeast dumpling version, which is if you ever go to a Bohemian or a Czechoslovakian restaurant or even a German restaurant, you will have probably had yeast dumplings. And they're more light and fluffy than the version that I grew up with, which was a little bit heavier, thicker. It was more of a bread versus a fluffy dumpling. So we're going to do those also coming up this summer. I'm trying to think other good cooks. The chicken paprikash, I'm definitely going to do. That's going to be a little bit more tricky because the basis of that is a chicken-based stock. And usually when I do chicken paprikash, I also make my chicken soup for the winter at the same time. So that may be more fallish when I do a chicken soup recipe. I also, right now, I'm limited on how much I can put in the freezer. My freezers are pretty much overflowing because I filled them up over the last couple of months. So we need to start emptying the freezers so I can refill them. I do have beef soup that is ready to go. Well, I shouldn't say it's ready to go. It's been filmed, and it was filmed actually back in February that I have not posted yet. I know you guys are also waiting for the lasagna videos. That also is ready to go. I will be posting the lasagna and the tiramisu probably in the next couple of weeks. Those also were filmed in, I think those were filmed in March, might have been filmed in, no, actually I take that back. Those were filmed for Easter. The pork loin was probably filmed around my birthday, now that I think about it. So you'd have to go back several months of videos and find the pork roast, but I do know I did that. So, keep your questions coming. I love reading them. You're giving me new things to think about doing. And like I said, I will find a good goulash recipe. We will do a Hungarian goulash. We'll do a stuffed pepper at some point. Once my garden starts to grow, if I get good heads of cabbage, we're also going to do stuffed cabbage. And that probably won't be until the end of August, beginning of September, because my cabbage will take that long to grow. And it hasn't even started to form. There's still little bitty plants. So once my vegetables start to go, we're going to be able to do a lot of great cooking, including I'm going to start to teach you guys how to can your vegetables when you grow them so that you have fresh vegetables all year round. So, anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been great learning about you guys learning about me, how to be better cooks, cooking different things. Keep the ideas coming. I just love the ideas that you guys all have. I know my friend Cal is hanging on to the edge of his seat with his Swedish meatballs. I'm going to do that this summer. That is on my to-do list this summer. And we're going to do the Swedish meatballs the right way. I found a perfect recipe that I actually can do. And I'm going to record that probably in June. Well, this is June. So probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to do that. So, anyway, enjoy the rest of the rib series. That's going to be posted. I'm going to post, I have one video that's uploading now. It'll post today. You'll see this following it. And then tomorrow we'll finish off the rib series. So, tune in tomorrow for another Cooking with Joel video.